Hey, it's Crable Creek Outdoors. We are here with episode 2 of Respect the Hunt. We've got a few things this week. One's a sequence of events from last year. It's pretty neat. And then Paul's dealing with an issue that he's got going on that could potentially cause him some issues trying to get into the woods for archery season. So he'll give you an update on that, and we'll keep you updated as we head into the archery season about that. But he's got the start of that today. So here it is. Hey, so this next segment is pretty neat. It shows you how a community scrape works. So it's left over from last year. It was on an SD card we had no idea existed, and we started looking through it, and I thought it was pretty neat. We had thousands of pictures. It goes from October 22nd to December the 22nd when we pulled the card, or pulled the camera actually, and just kind of threw it in the bag. So it's been laying there all year, but we went to clean up cards to get them into the rotation for this year and stumbled upon it. So it's pretty neat. Shows the interaction of the deer, or interaction of the deer with the scrape, and how they use that and kind of the timing. So hopefully you enjoy this next segment. So this segment of pictures here is from our trail camera that overlooks our mineral site, and it's a little hidden gem that we found last year when we were cleaning cards. So behind this mineral site is a community scrape, and over the next 4 or 5 minutes here you'll get to see the activity that happens on this scrape. Now there's a lot of other activity around this area, but we just tried to pull the pictures that are specific to the scrape. What they're doing at the scrape, how they're using it, timing of it, and some things like that. It's just pretty neat. The age structure of the buck doesn't really matter. We go from a couple mature bucks here to several young bucks, but you even get to see the does interact with the scrape, which is pretty neat for me. You know, there's all kind of myths out there in the hunting community about scrapes, rubs, and things like that in general. But it's always nice to see something documented. So these are actual photos from a 2-month span of October 22nd to December 22nd. You can see this buck here. He works this several times through this evening. So those last pictures were at 10 o'clock. These pictures are at 3:30 a.m. same night. But it's just weird. He'll come back to this area, but he doesn't really interact with that scrape again. It's like this is his one-time shot to do that. And that, as it goes through, you'll notice there's an 8-point that comes in that's a little more mature, but he's very similar to this deer. At first I thought it was him continually working, but there again, it's 2 separate deer, and he kind of works it the same way. Pretty intense one night, gets his scent out there real well, and then all of a sudden we don't really see him again. We see him come through the area but not work this scrape. So it's just pretty neat. There again, it goes back to Bo's here with me, and it goes back to what he said before, things we think we know. So yeah,
it is interesting to see. What we were talking about is kind of cool with this particular set of pictures, is that we're getting an idea of what these deer did over a 2-month span. So, you know, it's what you see on a given day in the stand if you're hunting over a scrape or during the rut or whatever type of behavior you're trying to witness, and you say, oh, well, the deer did this. Well, it's hard to say if that's really representative of the typical behavior, because there's a lot of weird things that could happen on any given day. But it's nice here to have this sort of 2-month sample to see and kind of get a typical pattern of this particular deer herd's behavior. And like we've kind of addressed here, I'm not saying that any of this is like a hard and fast rule for how deer behave over scrapes, but it gives us a pretty decent idea, having 2 months here, of at least how they behave in our given property that we're hunting.
Yeah, and this particular scrape is one scrape of
right.
Many scrapes, but it's kind of a communal thing. And this particular deer here is just the only one I remember working it in the daytime, I think, through this whole video. Other than that, everything else occurs at night.
Yeah, that is interesting to note. And like you said, a lot of these bucks will work it really hard on a given night, but then that's kind of it. It's not as though they come back to this and keep hitting it time and time again a week later or something like that. They might be in this area, but they sort of hit the mineral lick, and that's about it. Now, Here's where it gets interesting. These pictures are starting into November, so winsome does are actually starting to come into heat.
Yeah, and here the 15th, 16th, these are our pictures over the, for our area, that is the prime time. That is the peak of the rut. That's when most does are bred, and you'll notice these bucks pass through here. They really don't pay attention to this scrape. So it just kind of goes to my effect that scrapes aren't the greatest thing to hunt over. They do show you evidence of deer there, evidence that the rut is occurring, but they've started real early this year, and then really they don't pay any attention after the peak of the rut to a scrape, even after the major chasing period of the scrape. So we just thought we'd bring this to you and show you what we had on this scrape this year.
Hey guys, it's Paul with Crable Creek Outdoors. Wanted to talk to you about something I've been dealing with for about a year and a half. I've got tendonitis, as you can see. I have been dealing with it, like I said, for about a year and a half. In that time, I've had 2 cortisone injections into my elbow. Each time it lasts for maybe about 3 to 4 months, and then it comes creeping back. So the last time I had one was in November. And I started getting the symptoms coming back around April, mid-April. So rather than go and get another cortisone injection, I've decided to try physical therapy. When I first started physical therapy, they do some tests on you. They do a bunch of different tests. Well, one of them was a grip strength and a hold strength. On my right hand, which I'm right-handed, when I did the grip strength with my elbows down to my side, I was gripping about 97 pounds. Left hand was about 65 pounds. When we held straight out, my grip strength on my right hand was about 89 pounds, and my grip strength on my left hand was about 15 pounds. So they've been doing different things, different therapies, massage, dry needling, which is exactly what it sounds like. They stick needles in my elbow, which is fun. It's not that bad. And today they tried something new, which is electrode therapy. So that seems to be kind of promising. It's feeling a little better today, which is good. But the whole reason for this video is because I really enjoy hunting with my compound bow, but I'm afraid with the way this has been going, with me not wanting to get another cortisone injection unless it's absolutely necessary. I still want to be in the woods hunting, but I'm not sure that I'm comfortable with drawing on a deer with my compound bow right now. It's just, I just don't know how long I would be able to hold it. So I'm thinking about going back to a crossbow. That's what I started hunting with. I've had a crossbow for about 20 years, and I've got an old Horton, and obviously technology has come leaps and bounds since then. So I've been looking for a new crossbow, and I wanted to kind of show you guys what I've been looking at and kind of take you on my journey to see what I come up with, if I come up with anything. So stay tuned. Okay, so I've been doing quite a bit of research on the new crossbows out for 2019. I have been using a Bear Legion compound bow for the past 7 years. Been extremely happy with it, but with my issues that I've been having lately with my arm, like I told you before, I am thinking about switching to a crossbow. So I have gone through different classes of crossbows, and I've looked at different types. I've looked at the 10-point Nitro XRT. I've also looked at the Barnett Hyperflight, the Bear Saga, and the Scorpid. All of them had some good features, but from doing some research, talking to some people at Old English Outfitters, I have come to the conclusion that there are really probably only 2 that I'm thinking may be good for me, and that are probably 2 of the best bows out right now. One of them being this one, which is the Raven R26, and the other one being the Mission Sub 1. Both of them are very, very nice bows. I've actually held both of these bows. I haven't got to shoot them yet, so that's my next thing. I do want to shoot them before I make a decision. This one, the R26, is 26 inches long. It shoots 400 feet per second, and it's got a 5 3/4 axle-to-axle when cocked. So this is a very, very compact bow. This does not rest on the rail. This actually is kind of like a compound bow, but horizontal. So that's kind of a cool feature for this one. It's got a crank to load it, and then it also can decock the same way, and it's actually silent. It will make the clicking sound, or you push a button and it's silent. So it's got some really nice advantages. It's got a great scope, very compact, and gets really good reviews. The Sub 1 is, I think that's a 385 feet per second. That does, the bolt rests on the rail, and I think this one's about 30 3/4 inches long. It feels very nice as well. It's a little heavier than the R26, but it's still, you know, for a crossbow, it's still kind of compact. So, like I said, I've looked at both of these. I've talked to some experts about both of these, and they said I can't go wrong with either one. Now it's just the the trying to make the decision. So I'm going to report back once I get some more information. Hopefully I will shoot both of these, and then I can report back and tell you guys what I think. Or if I finally make a decision, I'll let you know what I come up with. So thanks for tuning in. See ya.
Well, we hope you enjoyed that video as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. Next month's video will have several different things in it. So we'll have a little update on Paul. That situation is going in the right direction. And then we'll also have a little bit of fishing video put in. Bo went to Alabama over July and over a week in July and had a little bit of success down there. That's some pretty neat video we'll get to bring you that we wouldn't normally have around this area. And we'll bring you some updates on our trail cam pictures and some of the current stuff we're seeing out there. So we're pretty excited about going forward this fall. Hopefully you'll stick with us. If you would, hit like and subscribe. And as always, respect the hunt.
Pervert.
So tell the crowd what part of scouting that is.